Get started with. Everybody has their own preferences when they get to layout building. Obviously, there's many different ways to do it, many different components that you can use. I'll pass on what I use and some of the reasons why I like it and so on. Basically, what I've used in the last couple of years, when it comes to road bed with our track, I like to use the Woodland Scenics track bed. They make it for all scales, O, H-O-N. I'll give you a sample here. This is the O gauge. It's very nice, easy to use, very lightweight. It's already painted black, so when you go to put your ballast down, no need to paint it after you put it down. It goes down very easy with what I use to hold it in place. Basically is liquid nails for foam board projects. Luckily, I have this layout that I'm redoing, so some of the track work is going down in the same position that the original was, which allows me to move along smartly here. So I'll show you how to get started with the foam road bed, and we'll move on here. 1 second. So we'll put down a bead of the liquid nails, roughly about the length of the 2-foot section that I want to put down right now. And I take my, all right, we're going to take this is a 1.5 inch spatula, by the way. You just take it and spread a bead just like you were putting down some tile in your house or whatever. Actually, I have a little bit too much, so I'm going to spread this all the way down so I can put both pieces on at the same time. And I'll just do the entire 4-foot length that I have left to do. I find it easier to not put so much down to get started with. It dries a little bit quicker. And it doesn't take a lot to hold it in place. The nice thing about it, though, is even after it starts to dry, you've got hours to move it around very easily. And you can actually start putting your track down almost as soon as you put the road bed down. Put the first piece in place. Just touch it down. Okay, and now we'll take the second piece to finish the all right, now what I also use, I use a basic little roller that we have acquired over the years for different things from around the house. Projects that aren't as much fun as doing model railroads, wallpaper, etc. Just smooth it out a little bit. Don't have to put a lot of pressure down on it. So I like to put a straight edge down to try and keep it so that the alignment of the road bed is pretty well straight, so when you go to put your track down, your track will also be straight when you're done. But right now, that road bed is down, and if I need to move it, I can move it. And laying down the track for Atlas 2-rail or 3-rail. This is a little bit different in that this layout is modular in construction, where most of the pieces all have to go together and be taken apart. So when I plan for doing something in this fashion, I like to use basically like a 40-inch section of straight track, which right out of the box looks like what we have here. And what I do is on each module, I have the main feeders on the 40-inch section soldered to the bottom of the rail at both ends. And at each module, this will be the feed to the main bus underneath the layout. Now you can use the same fashion in wiring your layout at home. For modules, it's basically required because of the fact that it has to come apart and be moved, set up again, and you want to make sure you have good connectivity all the way around. So basically we'll be using the sections that are pre-wired, and we'll start with the first section. I already put down the corner piece to get the 6-foot section completed, and I used a 4.5-inch section to start with here, and I have it lined up with the edge of the module, and the distance from the outside again I already used in my layout plan. Of course your layout plan may be different, so you can use that accordingly. Right now I want to remove the rail joiners I don't need and use the ones I do need. Alright, so I'm going to take off the rail joiner. I already have one on this side here. I brought the wires up to the top until I get the track in place, and then I can solder the wires and drop them down under the table. So we'll make our first connection here, lining up the rails, sliding them in place. Alright, we'll snap the snap lock ends together. Now we have our next section ready to line up and get put down. So I'll use some track spikes to hold it in place. We'll put the first track spike in. These are the Atlas track spikes right into the foam roadbed. Okay, and we'll move down, checking the measurement again. Put another spike in to hold it in place. We'll try and do the whole length of the 40-inch section. And we'll put one at the other end of it, and then we'll straighten it out and make sure that it is as even as I can possibly make it. And the holes are already pre-drilled into the plastic ties, so that makes it a little bit easier for you. And the next thing I like to do before I go on any further is to take a straight edge. I use a 4-foot long, actually it comes in 8-foot lengths. I use it in 4-foot, 6-foot, and 8-foot, but this will be 4-foot for the time being. It's the only one I have available. And I line up the track rail against the outside of the metal bar and pull it tight against the rail. So I see that it looks completely even, and then I tack up the remaining pieces of track to keep the rail straight. Now we have one 4-foot section of flex finished, and now we'll continue on measuring it out and seeing how much we need to finish up the ends of the modules. Myself particularly, I like to use, when I'm using this on a modular type layout, small sectional pieces that are standard, like a 4.5-inch or an 1 3/4 piece, simply because if the ends get damaged and you're in a show someplace and you need to get the track replaced, it's simple to just take along a couple extra pieces that are already pre-cut and you know their exact length, and keep them in your toolbox. This way here, if you run into a problem, it's all ready to go. You just snap off the end piece and put another piece in place and you're ready to roll.